see a dilemma in this country in as much as we're dependent upon oil. We're dealing with countries that aren't looking for our best interests. We're dealing with situations where our economy is based upon this, and that we're now, in almost a catch-22 where we've kind of bound ourselves in our rules and regulations and desires to save the planet and its resources, but yet those resources are the same thing that are driving our economy in the oil. So now with this new technology, is it based upon oil or is it based upon some other type of energy?
Yeah, these technologies are not based on oil at all. Matter of fact, they will put an end to fossil fuels. And really, if you think about it, the Earth is being choked by fossil fuels. The pollution is getting worse and worse. The global warming is getting worse and worse. They expect these things to escalate. So really, we need to get away from fossil fuels. And so these technologies, let's take a gravity motor. It runs on gravity, and gravity is the input. It also uses, I don't want to oversimplify, it uses other forces of nature. And of course, everything's an oversimplification when you're talking to the layman. So I try, so please bear with me on all that. But basically, the gravity runs on gravity, gravity motors run on gravity and other forces of nature like inertia and so on. And that can be harnessed into mechanical force. And so there's no pollution, there's no need for fuel, and these things work. They've been around for 300 years. A lot of people have seen them. And back on the quantum motors or the quantum generators, basically there's a field called quantum flux or quantum field. Some people call it ether. There's a lot of different names for it. But this field is basically the same field that powers a lightning storm. If you ever see a lightning storm, there's a huge amount of energy expended. And there's approximately 2,000 storms going on somewhere on the Earth all the time. And each
seems like more every day too.
Yeah, and each of those storms are able to power the whole planet if you count the amount of energy being expended in the storm. The electrical energy, that's just the electrical energy. It's not counting all the mechanical energy like the wind energy and so on. So basically, nature is already doing this as an example, and our systems have been able to make the energy come in at a stable rate where it doesn't have huge arcs like the lightning, because that would of course burn up everything in your system, including you. But our systems are able to stabilize this to where it comes in at a smooth rate, and it comes in continuously, not just in arcs, and light up light bulbs, which you, Steve, have seen all this, and so you can verify that it's for real. Steve is a little bit of background. Steve, he's an electrical guy and very good with sound systems and video and so on, and he's had his own business for many years, so he's not we got a guy here that's highly competent.
Well, thank you for that plug. But what we're here to talk about is the future, and what is it that we can do as individuals and as a group of God's people to get this off the ground and get it going. It's good to talk about these things. It's good to have the knowledge about these things. But if it doesn't come into a practical product that we can use, it's all just theory. So what is it we can do to move it from the thought process, the building process, to get the implementation done?
Yes, the machines have been built, and we've built literally tens of thousands of machines over the years, more than most people would believe, and many of them have been perfected to a degree that's necessary to get them into the world. We've had them running cars, we've had them running houses. So now, basically, where we're at for present and future is we're working on a prototype that we will mass produce, and as the funds come in, and the reason, as the donations come in and the tithes come in, we've already purchased land. We will break ground and build a factory, and we will mass produce a device that everybody can buy that'll be affordable. Be any fuel required. You'll be able to run your house with it. You'll be able to get rid of your electric meter, and then eventually run our cars and as different models come out that are more powerful, you can run your car. Initially, there might be a motorcycle that'll be runnable with this type of technology right at the beginning. That would be one of the things we'd like to mass produce after the house size unit, because motorcycles are very useful and used worldwide. In many countries, there's 3 times, 4 times more motorcycles than there are automobiles. Some places you hardly see any automobiles, all you see is motorcycles on the road. So this is a technology that everybody needs. You have a motorcycle that doesn't use any fuel, doesn't make pollution, doesn't cost anything to run other than changing your oil if it's that type of engine. If it's electric motor, you just basically don't have to do anything. You just drive it. Just check the charge level occasionally and make sure everything's working properly. That's basically it. There's a little bit of maintenance on anything that's mechanical.
Sounds like a whole new paradigm, a new way of thinking, a new way of approaching problems that have pretty much taken us to the point where we need those solutions, and it looks like maybe the timing is right for putting those into play.
Definitely, Steve. This is the time for the world to switch over and to start introducing these things and to start using these things. And within 100 years, we can have a transition. Even within 50 years, even within 20 years, we could have a transition where we have a clean world and there's no pollution or virtually no pollution. All pollution could be eliminated. It's not necessary to pollute this planet. We can live in harmony with this planet, and the planet can prosper. The earth can be returned to paradise status. It's even though there's many people living on this earth, people can learn to live in harmony with the earth. And I would say the main offenders are not the common people. The main offenders are the big industry, oil companies, and capitalists, and so on.
Do you see this as something that could be done in a different way, as opposed to giving it to a big corporation making a lot of money and letting them control this new energy? Or do you see this as a way of sharing that technology with the people of the world, to help the people of the world?
Yes, this is what the world needs, and this is what the people need is help, and this is what we envision happening, is all the people getting involved, and that we are able to mass produce this. The people get units at a discount rate. Anybody that's helped will get a discount, and we envision that these things will help the world. And really, it's going to be hard for any business to maintain control on this, because there's so many different ways to do it. Once you understand the technology, there's literally infinite ways to do it. So any of those ways can be patented. So anybody basically can learn to make these things that has enough intelligence to understand electricity and the different flows and the different aspects of electricity. Whereas gravity motors are even simpler. They're just mechanical devices, and a lot more people will even understand those. And again, there's many ways to make them. We have 11 ways to make them right now, and that work. And so if we can come up with a simple enough one, the plan is to give it away to the world, and it has to be given away correctly. We've given away 3 technologies in the past, and what happens is unscrupulous people come in and patent it, and then all of a sudden what you did to give it away was a waste of time, because then they tell you don't make it anymore, don't talk about it anymore. But what we have a plan for the gravity motor. Again, it requires some funding, but once we get our funding in place for the gravity motor, whether this will be before or after the one we mass produce, I don't know. But anyway, once this funding gets in place, we have a plan to give it away where the people of the world will be able to benefit. It won't just be a select few. It'll be everybody. It'll be simple enough that everybody can build it, and it'll be given away in a manner that no one can capitalize it or take possession of it or corner the market on it. It'll be out there for every single person to use and build and harness.
Again, I want to say thank you to Timothy Thrapp of WITTS. It's been a pleasure talking with you this morning, and we look forward to some solutions for our energy problems.